Hi, hi, hi. So I'm here. Let me check just if my volume is okay. So volume is working. So hi, I'm here after the last stream, and today I thought I will have a quick stream that where I can explain or talk about data validation in the project, and which I couldn't talk. Uh, I mean, I will try to make it very quick. I was going to stream maybe 1 to 2 hours before, but you know, procrastination is really is really the culprit, I must say. But I mean, I was thinking that I mean, I wasn't sure if I should stream or not because it's Friday plus it's Christmas week, so But anyways, I thought that better not postpone this and let's get started. So I have come here and to stream and explain how data validation works. I had to put that up in last stream, but I have finally decided, I will keep each and every module separate, or at least this one separate, because I'm typing out code. So it will obviously take me a lot of time or to I mean, instead of just, copying pasting the functions, I'm actually typing them. So it takes a lot of time, and with that, I'm explaining as well. So that takes some time too. But today, yes, today even I am thinking that I can't spare much of time. So let's get started without uh, dwelling on some uh, other things. I will just get into the topic. So here is the code editor. And last time what we had done is we had uh, completed data ingestion. This was on 24th. So this we had completed. Data set.zip imbalance data. I will even check if I can show my last commit on. Okay. So uh, I'll make it fresh. So yeah, so last commit is data ingestion added, and I haven't committed anything since 2 days. So today I will complete the data validation module, and we will complete that, and I will make sure that you understand everything. So for data validation, what I don't have a flow chart, but basically what I want to do is we have ingested. I mean, I have already coded and I have coded what I want to do for data validation. So what I want to do is basically make a report. I mean, you can use a specific framework or library like Great Expectations as well. But I today I'm not going to do that. Maybe I will do it in a future project. Today I will code it by my own. Each and every method and class I will like last time I will code it by my own. There are some advantages of using Great Expectations, as if you are going for interview and you show that you know this module, and if they are using the Great Expectations framework in the company, then they will be might be impressed that you know about that. So for data validation, what I want to do is basically check that after data ingestion has completed, I do have these files in my artifact library directory. So there will be a text file report will be generated. I will show you in a moment. and there will be few checks will be there uh, in that text file that for, let's say, example, dataset dot zip file present, then it will be pass. That then it will be a single check pass. Then if the other two CSVs files are imbalanced data and raw data are also present, then it will say that it will pass another two checks. These are like basically you need to the inputs will be there in a Boolean format, but I am basically making statements based on if the output is one or zero. So and the other checks will be that in imbalanced data here we have columns ID, label, tweet, and tweet. So all of these columns are there or not will also be checked using while in this data validation component section. And in raw data.csv as well. For raw data CSV, we will check if count, hate speech, offensive language, neither class and tweet columns are present in the raw data uh, CSV file. So that are going to be our checks for data validation. Based on all the checks are there, I mean, if say any single one of the checks goes false, then the whole data validation step will give a false answer. For example, I will show you. I had run the report here. So it will, in a similar manner, this has created a data ingestion artifact, giving you data set and imbalanced data and raw data files. It will create another directory with data validation artifacts as name, and it will give you a text report. You can use any kind of file, maybe a JSON file or a I mean, I'm using text file. You can use JSON or any other kind of a file as well. And in this manner, I'm creating passes that, this file is present. Each and every particular file is present in the directory, what time it was created, basically timestamp, and then the address it is present. So first three are for the file existence. It will check if the file is present or not, and the last four, last two are for if CSV validated successfully, and four is for imbalanced data and for raw data. So these files will be these checks will be for checking if the columns are present or not, and if they are empty or whatever it is. So, and then you will get a final message that final validation status true. That means it is has passed. I have, I think, a failure one as well. I will check if it is here. Yeah. So in this this report I had created, there is a missing column there. I will tell you why it has come. I mean, you could say that I was testing if our data validation step is working or not. That's why I created this. But I mean, I will explain it. And then if it fails, any of the above fails, then it will give a false message. Excuse me. So in this session as well, we will be following the same format as before. First, we will do constants, uh, initialize constants, then config entity, artifact entity, components, that is data validation .py component, training pipeline. It will in the train pipeline we will add a method called data start data validation, and then app.py will be the same as we just have to call the pipeline basically. So it is going to be same. Uh, the rest I haven't changed anything. I have just added the data validation component here, which is an empty file. Later on we will go and update it. Here I had in requirements, I had added great expectations with an idea of creating developing this with using great expectations in this project. But right now, I mean, I want to keep it simple, so I'm not going to do that in this particular session. So without delaying, let's start with constants. So here we will write whatever we need, exactly like the data ingestion constants. By the way, you can always ask if you're viewing, then you can always ask questions in the comments and I will try to answer. Try to answer in comments, or if you are asking question in a live session, then I will reply. I can see if there is any question asked on a live chat as well. And your question will be visible in the video as well. So uh, anybody who is watching, they will come to know who is asking and what is the question. So like it will be like a community feeling. We are creating data validation artifacts right now. Data code file. In one of the files, I have actually decided to, you know, omit something. I will just let you know what that is at the end when we run. So, I will, along with what I'm writing, I will explain. So these are the columns for raw data .csv, and in that file we do have a unnamed column, and I am basically excluding that column from the checks because like we don't need that column anyways. And what happens is many a times when I don't think that column originally exists. That column basically has been created because it happens when you are dealing with uh, data frames. And in data transformation step, we are anyways going to handle that. So that's why I don't feel that we need to do it. I mean, you could do it, but what you might have to do is change the name of the column and name the column something, and then pass it as a check. But without naming it, you will have to drop it at this stage. But I'm not doing that because like right now we are just making sure that everything exists here so that we don't like have to do perform that. So I'm not like checking that column. We are not concerned about that column. So that's it. We are done with constants. I will move to what is my next step? Config entity. So I will move for config entity. So similarly, I will add a new class called data ingestion data validation config. This actually, I would like to say that why this data validation thing, validation component is required is because many a times if for example, I am ingesting the data set, okay, and maybe sometimes if while whoever has updated the source file which I pull my data from, maybe someone has some whoever is updating that file is new and someone made a mistake or uh, regarding the columns, basically that whatever columns I want they haven't added that, or there is uh, something new that has been added, then I should come to know that my file is intact, or like there are any missing values in it, then I should come to know. We could also add missing as I missing a check for missing values in this. But let's see if something. Okay. Okay. Thinking that I will complete data transformation as well today, but like that is a bit complicated and it will take time for me to. Let's see if I get time, I will do it as well. So this is for one is for basically I have created config entity for data validation artifact directory, and the other one is for I mean the report itself. Just checking if everything. Now we'll go to artifact entity. Please drop a like if you like this because um, it takes time by yourself. I mean, you can do everything by using ChatGPT, but still, I mean, it is not exactly correct. ChatGPT is not actually exactly correct all the time. So you have to do like, I mean, it's up to you if you want to. If you really like it, then it's fine. Otherwise, it's okay. So now we are doing data validation component. These I updated in constants. Updated config entity. Validation artifact file. This is boolean. Status is boolean. Report is string. Okay. For time for components. Import system. Import pandas speedy from speech constants. So whenever you have to import something like multiple, you can use this brackets and then in, write whatever you want to. Um, and import, um, and last will be data validation. First we'll define self. I think two more things we need to data validation config. Uh, Ingestion artifact. comma over here. Just an artifact. S- Directive for then report self message with write report self con. So here with open self validation report, we are basically we are giving a flag, which is basically used for append, because like we are not creating each and new file for each and every check. Nah, we are using the same file, so that's why. And this is write report, so that after each and every check, it will write in the same file. That's what it is. Append in the same. Validate exist. This will give a boolean answer. Add logging. Right now, I mean, in this particular project, I mean, it's not so much important to validate. I mean, it is kind of important in a way that you always check if the particular columns are present or not. And what happens is even if the columns are present, but they are not matching the name that you pass, then also the validation report will come as false, so that at least you will know that there is some problem. Even if their data exists in the files, but your name is not matching, column names are not matching, then also it will give false. That's why it is important. Otherwise, I mean, just this is just we are checking CSE files, so it could be said as important in any way. But for other projects, like for data ingestion projects, maybe you just have to check that a particular folder is created or not. For example, if you are ingesting some images, then you need to check, and basically that is also a zip file. You are ingesting a folder that contains images which is in a zip format. Even not like the folder itself is in a zip format, then you need to ingest the compressed file, then unzip the file and make sure that the required folders are created. So for that you just have to check if the folder is created or not. You don't have to go inside and check the images. But here we can do multiple checks because it is CSV file, and we can check for column names. File exists, then true. File exists is equals to true. Path not ingestion artifacts but imbalance state of raw stored path exists. So it basically is checking if the path is present or not, and like we don't have to create a different. I mean, we just want to check that the ingested data files are present at the ingestion file path or not. That's what we are checking in this particular loop. So in the first, if we are writing if not exists, then what you need to write in the report. Here we are writing failed message. I'm missing. We are also attaching path as well, so that file exist is equals to full. Else. I'm actually very proud of myself that I decided that I'd come and do a stream today because I was really feeling like it postponing. Okay, so validation completed if these files exist. So for zip file as well, we wrote it, and for the other file for ingestion, both ingestion files as well, we have written if it exists or not. And now comes the new other sort function, validate CSV. It's going to be a big one. String self file path string required columns. Okay, list. Okay, boolean logging written CSV empty. See, it is checking if this is empty or not. If empty, then it will return again false. So each and every file, whatever the file path is, it is storing as df data frame, pandas data frame, and if that data frame is empty, then it is basically returning false. Right report string is empty. And if synchronous columns is null. Basically, this is checking if there are any empty cells individually. So in this particular logic, we are checking. I will show you how these work as well at the end by changing name of columns. So this one is basically for null values found in what if whichever file it is. Then this one is for missing columns. So basically in this set we in the target CSV file, if there aren't any columns that are present in our required columns, then it will give you the line that there are missing columns. But we are obviously not checking if there are any extra columns. Make sure you have that in mind. If you want to return something like that, then you have to write another function. For example, I'm not going to consider the column which is unnamed. So that not be checked in this particular checks report. Pass return true. Okay. So now there will be this regular function basically to initiate this data validation step, which was there in the previous the data ingestion component as well. Basically, it is present because we don't want to like call everything in the training pipeline, right? So that's why we will call all the functions in this particular function and then call this function in the training pipeline. No, we'll call the start data validation function in the training pipeline, basically. There also we have the run pipeline function to run the training pipeline. Okay. And so block validation. status is true if status again I'll just do copy paste here changed this yes. I just want to this will be the final message that final validation status whatever it is. So it will give true if all the others are not false initially. Like, Oh, I think is it visible? Oh yeah, report by self.config. So this is also done. We are done with the components and we have to write the pipeline basically. So for training pipeline as well, I don't think we have to do many changes. Just have to include whatever is missing. So over here, just like we imported data ingestion component, we will similarly and in entities we want to include validation config here and artifacts. Okay. Now in the training pipeline here, similarly like data ingestion, data validation config. Okay. This is the data start data ingestion function. We are not going to do anything here. We'll write a separate function for action. This one exactly 2 lines. The conclusion. Here as well, I should one. This okay. This looks okay. Enter. Here as well, I only have 2 lines. Okay. Start. Artifacts. Yes, so inputs are basically data ingestion artifacts, and then it will create a data validation artifact. That is what we want. Okay. Okay. Info center. I'm just okay. Yeah, I block. Previous file, what did I write? Hmm, something wrong. Data validation. Just check if everything is correct. Okay, so basically, why we are writing this particular thing, I will explain. So what we are writing here is that we this whenever this pipeline runs, okay, we wrote whatever is happening. If status check has failed, then if the file exists, that zip file or other CSV file exists that has failed, then it will give the failed status in the report. That is fine. Then we are checking if the files are empty or the columns exist in that using validate CSV function. That is also fine. But in data validation, if everything runs correctly and still we are going to get a report, right? So the file data validation report file is anyways going to be created. Okay, so like then what will trigger us that inside the report we need to go and check that if the report has failed or passed. We will have to go and check now. Then only we will come to know. For example, while running a pipeline, I forgot that I have to go and check the data validation report. Then how come I will get prompted? That's why we are adding a exception over here. Excuse me, that if validation status is false, then even if the report is created and all the code works fine, the checking has been correctly happened, then also you will raise an exception that the data validation is step has failed, which will trigger the user to go and check the report, and then you will come to find out that on which file path which particular file doesn't exist. That's why this particular exception is used. Okay. If only there was easy way to explain things in this particular field, then would be so easy. Method of training time. Validation artifact. Okay. An exception as E is correct, then in run pipeline we have to include this function. So here we will also call data validation. Okay. So this is fine. I think this is done. We are done with the code. And app.py file stays the same. So this is also a great use of mean, great way to use, like, great thing about using timestamp in your address, that for every time you create the time, like the file, you get a separate timestamp and you know that what time this was created. So let me check. It's been an hour and 10 minutes, so I will quickly run the pipeline and show you how this works. So, okay. So it's just Python. Okay. So ingestion ran fine. There is some mistake in validation. Come. I had actually done a lot of checking before starting the stream, so that's why I'm a little bit surprised. Stream burden 37. It's a small mistake. Try and these are in line correctly. Okay. What is wrong? Okay. This data validation conflict. Oh, okay. Here I think auto typing mistake has happened. So was a mistake. Mistakes. Let's check if this works. New mistakes. Okay, this ran correctly. Wow. This has run on 26th of December, that is today at 10:58 p.m. Okay. So we have our data ingestion artifacts, dataset.zip, imbalanced raw data CSV. Correct. We got our reports as well, data validation report. All status is passed. So file exists, both the zip file exist and imbalanced and raw data files exist. Okay. CSV has been validated. So what has been checked? If the columns are present, if the entire file is empty or not, or if there is any cell that is empty or not. That has been checked, and hence we have got a validation status as true. Okay, so let us make some experiment with this for right. Where was that function? Here, validate files exist. Yeah, validate CSV. In this missing columns, right? So required columns minus columns in the DF that we assigned, right? Whatever has been assigned. So in one of the files, let's go and change a column name and check. Required column, if it gives a missing columns names, column or not. So here what we will do is we will change it to counts. Now it should give a message that there's a missing column in raw data. Check. It should give an error. Okay, we got an exception. Data validation failed report. The above exception was direct cause of following exception. Okay. Check. So here as well, the report has been created, but we got a error because we need to go in the actual report. Our report has failed, status has failed. So that's why this is necessary. If the if there is any discrepancy in data set or column name, then it will give us an error. Otherwise, it will just keep on running the pipeline with whatever data is present. So let me just go and check the report. Validation report. It is false. Why? Missing column. See here. It has given missing column. In which file? See, number is missing because I had given the name number and actual data has a name called count. Here I have given number and actual data has count. Right? Or data. Here the column is count. That's why it is giving error. So this is very good, I think. This has worked perfectly. I have been successful to give error as well. Which error is it? This is missing column error. With it has given the which column is missing as well. So it is very working very well. Why I had to check that is it is very difficult to if I had given count, but it is like I mean, I instead of going to source and changing the column name, giving a wrong data set over there, and coming in, ingesting that data and getting an error, it is easier to change a column name and to get this missing column error. That's why I chose to do this kind of a thing here. But this proves that if is any column with our names, I will change it back to count and run it again. That if any columns will be missing, then it will definitely give us an error message instead of giving pass. So right now it hasn't given any error, so this should be pass. That's why it hasn't given any error. Final validation status is true. All the cases have passed. Okay, so we have achieved what we want, and now it is time to commit the code. Sorry, push the code to GitHub repository. Sorry. So git status. This has been added and others have been modified. Git add dot git status. Okay, new file added. Others were modified, and now commit finish data validation added. These reports also will not be committed to the GitHub profile because these that's why we actually excluded the these reports from our repository of last time we had written in it in the git to ignore file here. So we are that's why it won't be committed to git, but the code will be added over there. Validation added. Push. So right now the uh, changes have been pushed. Git push u origin main. Branch main setup. Okay. Okay. Hit speech classification. Okay. Okay. So this code has been pushed. Let me go and check at the GitHub repository. I will also give you a display capture of this. So right now the last uh, commit was data ingestion. I will reload this. So it is has been updated to data validation added 1 minute ago, and we can see that here in hate speech data valid in components data validation component has been added. Okay. Okay, so I'm very happy that it completed this today. Please come and check my repository and give a star here. If you give a star, then more people will be able to access my repository and they will be able to access the code and learn how these things happen. And maybe I will add a YouTube link over here as well to check my playlist of my live streams. And this has been really good, like 1.5 hours. I mean, so thank you for joining today. And I will see you next time. I will be, I think, doing data transformation. And if it becomes a long stream, then I will do two components at a time, and I will try to save some time. Um, Maybe insert functions and try explaining them in short time, and try to talk about two components at a single in a single stream. So thank you for joining today. See you in the next stream. Bye. Have a good day. Good weekend actually. Have a good weekend. Bye bye.